Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another Real Comic Heroes podcast. I'm Travis.
And I'm Patrick. We're here to take on the last of the 70s Battle of the Apes planet. Conquering chimpanzees.
Conquering the escape of the battle for the planet of the apes.
Guerrilla war.
Ooh,
guerrilla warfare. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, how did
See
that
what you
just
did there.
now click in after all this time?
I'm surprised they didn't say that in the movie.
I know.
They're using guerrilla warfare tactics.
Wow, that is unbelievable that it took me that long to make that connection.
They really held back a lot of the ape-monkey puns.
Oh, yeah.
The guy in Escape that got killed by Cornelius, something about that little monkey you got that said that, but...
Yeah, I thought they were gonna get the puns going with that first one with the "Hear no evil, see no evil."
Yeah, that's probably the most extreme example.
That was pretty cheesy.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just weird in the setting, of a council meeting. Yeah, I was like, okay,
kind of a serious scene.
I don't know if I'd want the guy covering his ears on the console. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah. So last week we recorded. We recorded Conquest of.
Yeah.
And I had put out on Twitter, if anyone has questions or comments or, their own reviews of the movie, just to shoot them our way. And our friend Rory from Hangover Reviews sent in his thoughts of Conquest. Because he watched it before we recorded, just to send in his own...
If it isn't my arch enemy.
Are you still sore about? Are you still butthurt over that Spaceballs review?
My Spaceballs took a pounding on that review. That's for sure.
So your Spaceballs are a little sore.
Yep.
Okay. So now I'm gonna read Rory's comments, or kind of his review on Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. And I feel bad because I'm not going to be able to do it in his awesome Scottish accent. So
I feel like if I was hungover, I might be able to pull it off better.
Oh, do you want to try?
Well, I'm not hungover.
We could pound some beers real quick. And
all right. Well, I mean, that's part of his thing is it's a hangover review.
Right.
So I feel like I'd have the confidence to do it then, but really wouldn't do a good job. In my head, I'd sound spot on, but in real life, it would be a mess. Yeah, I'd probably start just pretending using a different accent by mistake or something.
Slap the bass.
Yes, exactly. Slap the bass. Hey, my name is Rory. Irie. Or something like that. And I turned into something else. I don't know where I'm going.
Going Indian.
Is it? I don't know. I'm horrible at accents.
Oh,
that got off the rails quickly.
All right. So Rory says, gotta love a movie that's set in the far-flung future of 1991, the year I was born. Of all the Apes movies I've seen, this is my second favorite, after Planet of the Apes, the original. It drops the silliness from Escape and gets back to what the original was all about, promoting a message. This one, however, seems much darker, exploring the cruelty of humans more directly than the original, rather than reversing those roles. This was also the best performance I've seen from Roddy McDowell in a more interesting role. So, overall, it sounded like... Oh, and then I checked with him what kind of rating he would have given it, and he gave it a 3.5. I think we gave it
a 3.
Yeah. So, not too far off from where we were, so...
No, I mean, he's right on with the whole... a lot less goofy than A Day Out with the Apes in the previous movie.
Right, yeah. Escape.
Yeah, and they're going on a whirlwind adventure with cameras and feminist movements and whatever. Yeah, it was a lot more... He probably doesn't like this one then.
Yeah.
Because this one takes a kind of a cheesy turn.
Yeah.
I think, but we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1973.
That's right.
Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
That's the right one. You watched the right movie this week.
Look out. Well, now can you see why I was confused? Because it sort of recaps.
Yeah.
And then I thought it just bumped in time and gave you a little snippet of like...
Yeah, the recap at the beginning was a little strange. I thought it was weird that they only recapped Escape and Conquest. They didn't touch on... I guess you don't need to recap 1 and 2.
Because of the whole mission of the... going and seeing what his parents said, because then it shows his parents, I guess.
I guess it makes sense in context of the movie itself.
At first, I was like, what the hell?
When you think of a recap, you would think that it would start, But I guess, let me think.
Well, I mean,
it was the lawgiver that was doing the voiceover, so from his perspective, he wouldn't have known about Planet of the Apes and Beneath the Planet of the Apes. He would only know... Okay, so that makes sense then.
Well... Yeah, because I think the year was like 70 something.
2670.
Yeah, and I think Heston was like 30 something.
Yeah, I don't have my other notes.
So it wasn't even... I mean, they're totally different timelines. It's like...
Yeah.
Biff rules the future.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, where it's like an alternate timeline. But, I was kind of scared about this one because they talked heavily on time travel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't you do it.
And now we're going back to the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of time travel talk.
Like there were like a lot of heavy discussions with the chimps and but yeah, the opening I was like, ugh, again with the friggin' recaps. Yeah. I think it's worse because we're watching it like back to back.
Right, sure.
But still, I mean, it came out like 2 years later? Or 71? Or no. Oh, God, I get all these confused now.
Yeah, it's weird because the time of, like, the movie timeline for a while were set in the 70s, and then it was 2 years.
It was 91 in the last movie.
Yeah.
And then I think it at least jumped 20-something years.
Yeah.
Because of the old ape in the armory saying he's lived there for 25 years.
Yeah, that really surprised me. As far as when they were released a year apart. Yeah. Conquest was 72. This is 73.
Okay.
But yeah, and then it starts out like we said, set in the year 2670, and it opens with the lawgiver, who was played by John Huston, who's like. From everything I understand, he's like Hollywood legend, royalty kind of, like director, actor, writer. He wrote Maltese Falcon and Treasure of the Sierra Madre. They're two big like Humphrey Bogart movies. They're both really good old movies. So
yeah, I think well, it was 2670s from his point of view with the but it was 600 years. Well, 600 years after the death of Caesar, so Caesar lived to 2071, so he was roughly 100 years old when he died.
I guess I hadn't thought about the math of... Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, when he was done with the story, he's like, 600 years after the death of Caesar.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's see. It would have been 91, and then
he was 20
the armory guy said something about 27 years. Yeah. So what would that be? 91 plus 27, carry the 4.
2000.
Something.
That would be 2018.
Okay, so 2018, Caesar would have been, he was 20.
So he's like 47 now.
47.
He's got like a teenage punk kid.
Okay, so he lived from 2047. If he died in 2070, then it would have only been another 30 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm saying
so
it makes sense.
It does. Okay.
But he was just, he lived to be like 100, wasn't he?
No.
Because 26.
Because if he was born, almost 100, yeah. Because he would have been born in 73. I think is when that movie was set. 71, 73.
Okay.
I think it came out in 71, but it was for some reason set 2 years in the future.
Okay. Maybe that
was... so he would have, Well,
no, because 91 he was 20. So 20 years past would be 71.
Yeah.
I think. Who cares about this? Dude, we're getting lost in ape math.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Ape math it's like dog years.
Yeah, yes.
Caesar died at the ripe old age of 26. Moving along.
God, I did not mean to get bogged down there.
Nah.
But that does bring to light how quickly everyone turned into talking apes.
Yeah, so in 20 years.
Yeah.
And
And that one guy, that old guy.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's been teaching for years.
That's one of the notes I had when Virgil talks to Mandemus, great name, is the armory ape, and
that's
Virgil says,
okay.
Yeah,
I got confused.
Virgil says, when I was a boy, Mandemus taught me, and at that I was like, how does that work? It's only been like 10 years since you overtook the planet, but I guess Virgil, when he was a boy, was 27 years ago, but that means that Mandemus essentially woke up when Caesar took over the planet, became intelligent enough, and then started teaching right away.
Yeah.
It
was weird.
It's a weird timeline. You just kind of
got thrown off right off the bat because I was like, okay, I was assuming we were way further in the future.
Right.
I thought Caesar was a title for the king of the apes.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I didn't know it was the same exact Caesar at first. Yeah. And then there was Cornelius, so I was thinking that was the Cornelius to be.
Yeah.
So I was all confused when we started because I had no idea what time we were in.
Yeah, it would have probably worked better had they jumped ahead 200 years.
Well, yeah,
but then you can't use those characters. You can't use Caesar,
True.
The same Caesar we know, So unfortunately, they had to just say, in some years, we've all advanced to the point of speaking and thinking and
to where we are 2,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
And we still wear the same clothes.
Yeah,
that's part of what threw me because I was like, okay, they're in their
they look
future
like
clothes.
They do 2,000 years later.
Yeah, I mean they're working fine leathers perfectly, and the gorillas have their awesome leather outfits with red sleeves. Mm-hmm. That's where the red is, different color, but
yeah.
I was like, that was bugging me.
The red last time when they were in red. Yeah,
I was like, I don't remember them being in red.
Yeah,
but now it makes more sense. Oh man.
So we kind of open the movie with we find out it's General Aldo. That's the Aldo, I guess, but timeline must have gotten messed up because
and he does make a difference.
Yeah. So Aldo rides up and goes to school. That kind of surprised me.
I was like, what?
I mean,
aren't you a little old?
But if you think about it, they aren't intelligent. So, but it's weird to see adults going and attending a school alongside the children.
Everyone else is a kid,
right.
except for the
gorillas, yeah,
because they're dumb.
Yeah, and maybe it just takes them a lot longer.
I understand why they're so angry now because everyone makes fun of them for being stupid.
Yeah.
And the chimpanzees seem to have gone to another level of intelligence.
Yeah.
They're
so are the orangutans.
Physics. And but even Caesar doesn't understand that one guy.
Right.
He's could you explain it in a way even Caesar could understand?
I like that.
I was like, damn.
He uttered a negative imperative.
Could you put that into words which even Caesar could understand?
He said, no, Aldo, no.
Caesar's stupid.
Well, and it must be weird for Caesar to essentially started out the most intelligent ape, and then in 20 years he's bypassed, and Virgil is like Dr. Milo. He's a genius well beyond his years. I like Virgil just already has a concept of time travel, and he uses Haslein's highway theory verbatim, but he wouldn't have known about Haslein's theory about if you change lanes and then you change the future. But
I feel like they're smarter than their future counterparts. Maybe it's because they have some knowledge from man.
Could be because Virgil's definitely smarter than the other orangutans we see in the future, like Dr. Zaius, because he was the one trying to.
I don't think the faith has beaten some knowledge away, like flight and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So. We find out. I think this is the first time I saw a human kid in the opening sequence.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember seeing.
They didn't use kids too much throughout. I mean, they used an ape kid.
Yeah.
Very sparingly in the early couple movies.
Because most of the humans were in their 20s.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, 20s, 30s.
And then It was kind of odd seeing the two working together, but it still seemed like the humans were less than
they were not equals.
Yeah.
That's for sure, and we learned that the humans are being used for like labor, but they're not slaves.
Yeah, they're more.
But they're not equals.
I think it's because it seems like the apes outnumber them.
Oh, for sure,
and that they had the winning hand in the war that destroyed everything.
Yeah. And we have no concept of what the rest of the planet kind of looks like. I'm assuming there are ape colonies all across the globe, and they're kind of all doing the same.
Sort of big.
That's the one thing about these movies that they tend to... They call the movies, the planet of the apes, but you never really expand too much further than that. Yeah. That one ape city and that one forbidden zone or whatever.
Upstate New York of the apes.
Yeah.
He went north.
I like Paul Williams. He's the one that plays Virgil, and I know him probably best from... He was the voice of the Penguin from the Batman, the animated series.
Oh, okay.
But he's like a music legend. He wrote the Rainbow Connection from the Muppet movie. I thought it was weird that we meet McDonald. I thought it was McDonald from the last movie.
So did I.
It's McDonald's brother.
Yeah.
But
why couldn't it have been?
I mean, they obviously recast him, but they also recast...
the crazy guy that was like a henchman for the governor.
Right. So I don't get why not say it's the same character, because basically...
That was an odd phrase that he had to use. It was my predecessor's right-hand man's brother's sister's cousin.
But it's weird because this McDonald seems to know everything that his brother knew. Like, he knew the inner workings of the underground base or whatever, the archives. He knew everything. So he had all of McDonald's information. Why not just make it the same character and just recast it? I mean,
it's
if you're recasting the role,
movie or anything,
just say it's the same guy. And maybe that's maybe
to show more than one person's him. I don't know.
It was weird.
Yeah,
I would have rather it just have been the same McDonald from the previous movie because I like the character.
Yeah.
And then this actor did a fine job as McDonald's brother, but could have just been the same guy.
Yeah, at no point did he go, I remember my brother saying.
Yeah.
It was like no point to it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like, I remember my brother telling me that the archives were down this way and down this hall. It's like, how would you know that? Did your brother
Family
come
business.
home every day and say, I was at work today and I walked through the corridor and I took a left to archives. Yeah.
Well, maybe his brother was in the archive department.
And maybe he worked there as well. Yeah, it's bizarre. Why not just make him the same guy?
Yeah. I was just spending the first 20 minutes trying to figure out what time we were in.
Yeah.
It was just bothering the crap out of me. I was like, who are these people?
Well, I think
these apes?
What I like about it is so early on you find they quickly establish that we're going to go to the old city, look for these records.
That was the other weird thing. The records they found.
The records of the recordings of.
Why was it just pictures?
Yeah. Why not just say that there was a camera in the room recording everything? Yeah.
That's what I was expecting, because I thought they had videotape of them, but I guess they've only had audio.
Yeah.
But why have the images flash up? It's weird. Because it's not like you don't have the footage. You just re-showed the first two, the last two movies.
Yeah. We kind of jumped over. So after when we first see the school in the beginning, the teacher tells, is it Aldo? He tells no? Yeah, he tells Aldo no for doing something. And then that's like a huge deal, no human is ever allowed to say the word no to an ape.
But an ape can say it to a human.
Yeah. So that's kind of, you get to see where these two societies are. The apes are definitely the dominant.
I think it's another comment on where we were, because I don't think it's kind of odd that it's sort of it's like the taboo.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was being bantered about at the same time.
Sure,
it's still around, but at that time I could see it being more of a you can say it to each
double
other
standard.
or to the human, but you human can't say it too because you've abused that word.
Right, yeah.
And it's very similar.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay, wow.
I like how...
and it was like, I swear I subconsciously heard a record just like go... as soon as he said no, because everyone, like, eyes would
someone
wide.
drops a glass and...
Yeah.
and
It was just like, I
That's
love
funny.
that part.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what happened? This white guy's confused.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
I say no all the time. It's like, how are you going to stop saying that word, though?
I know.
You just said
I know. I used the one with the different spelling.
That's my point.
Yeah.
There's two different no's. It's very confusing. They should have had it be like obey or something instead of no.
Do. Obey.
Yeah, or do. They do say do.
A lot,
So,
in the previous one, yeah.
I don't know. No is just going to be a hard one to stop saying.
But no is that go-to word when you're trying to keep somebody in line, a pet, a small child. Like, isn't no your go-to? Like, no, stop it,
Yeah.
So I think it's meant to show us how ingrained it is in us to try and command others, I guess.
But come on.
It would be tough.
Cut some slack.
I can't imagine going through a day without saying no.
Yeah, and then you'd have to explain you were talking about the other no.
Right.
That's in knowledge. It's like, no.
Negative.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you see like a hut where they're like training the humans not to say no.
Yeah. Do. I like how early on we see how quick Aldo is to undermine Caesar.
Like, he's just like full of rage.
Yeah,
Dude is
just big dumb
pissed.
gorilla. That's he's ready to take things over, and he definitely wants to rule. And
Like, he's obnoxiously like angry.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's that this character only has one motivation, and it's to lead the army and have martial law.
it's like, how cocky can you get like that quick?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been seriously like 20-something years.
And that's probably why they show us the gorillas going to school, because they're not as intelligent as the rest of them, and to them they're still very primal and very savage. And
although it does show me for the first time ever that they're stronger than humans.
Yeah.
With the whole carriage thing.
lifting up the wagon. Yeah.
I was like, where the hell's this been?
Yeah.
The one time they actually do it, it's to lift
a cart.
cart. Like, you couldn't have tossed some humans around?
Yeah.
They look cool. You gotta do some road repair
Right.
on a car. Jeez, weak. And the other thing I thought was odd when I saw the cart, and then later when I saw the, I guess, mutants, for lack of a better word, was that they didn't have some kind of like hybrid thing where they had like some automobile parts where it seemed like they were just using wood and like vegetation, and like they weren't using like, you'd think there'd be leftover like cars or
for the apes to use.
I thought there'd be like some spare parts that they were still kind of using man-made stuff and ape-made, but it was just all ape-made.
Right.
Like nature. I don't know if they have like a taboo against using human technology or something.
Could be a little bit, but they use all the guns.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, I guess the ape city just being a bunch of
It's
huts in the trees, wooden fences, wooden everything. I don't know. Maybe it would be more.
Because I thought that close to a revolution, it would have
you think it would be
been
using
some stuff still around,
parts. Yeah, yeah.
like the mutants had. I mean, I don't know. It struck me as odd once I saw the mutants come out with their school bus.
Yeah, and we're told, early on, somewhere in the 20-some years, that there had been other wars and everything had escalated from the previous movie, and at some point, I guess it's New York City, has been obliterated by a nuclear weapon.
Well, it's like everything in this movie, it escalates quickly.
Yeah, so that could also be why they don't have a lot of materials from the city, because anything they would bring back by now has been irradiated and wouldn't be safe to have,
It's just
a lot of those materials. But
Yeah, because you don't really know how far north they are of the city.
Yeah.
It's obviously somewhere that's had woods, though.
Yeah.
Because it's not like that's going to grow overnight.
Yeah, and the forbidden zone that this forbidden city is going to become, I don't think expands. Like, it was like a 3-day ride or something to get across the forbidden zone. And here, I don't think it's grown that large yet. The zone itself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, I mean, they walk there.
Yeah.
But the other guys have to take
It seemed like it was like a day trip, maybe.
Yeah.
We're not shown like an overnight kind of thing, but it seemed like, it probably took them half a day maybe to get there and then half a day back. So, yeah, at the early part of the movie, we learn that McDonald knows that, or believes that the archives would have survived. He knows that, Caesar says that he wishes he could have known his parents, and that's when McDonald tells him,
you can see them, you can hear them, and they can give you knowledge.
How?
Under the dead city where we once lived, in the archives, near the old command post, there are tapes, sealed tapes of Cornelius and Zira, being examined by officials of the American government. When my brother was Governor Breck's assistant, he told me about them. I know where they are.
So that's kind of the motivation to go back to now it's the Forbidden City.
Yeah, so they hike a day or so.
Yeah, just so Caesar can go learn kind of where he came from and
learn the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were like debating.
That's right. That's kind of the motivation.
The gorillas, and
they want to know what's to come. Yeah. I like the scene where they go to the armory and they talk to Mandemus, and he's been given power by Caesar to basically take ownership over these guns and everything in the armory, to the point where Caesar himself has to explain why he needs guns, that they're not intending to kill with them. They want them for protection. And Mandemus is kind of speaks in riddles and what do you expect to need protection from? And at one point they ask for a pistol and they say, McDonald might want to shoot a rabbit, and it's like, well, then why does McDonald need 3 pistols? Here's your 1 pistol. And just kind of a cool scene. I like seeing even Caesar has to kind of answer to somebody as far as
Well, that's where we found out about him being a wily old teacher or whatever.
Yeah, that's when Virgil says something about him being taught as a boy.
And they march off to the Forbidden City and get I like that they had a Geiger counter.
I know, yeah.
That's convenient.
Yeah. They knew that it was going to be irradiated, so they...
That thing was going off like crazy while they were in there. I'm like, woof.
I kind of like the look of the melted city. I mean, it was obviously like a painting, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool that it was melted and not just, blown up or something.
And we pretty quickly get to meet some of the, they're like early mutant humans. They're not yet...
Yeah, they don't have telekinesis
They don't have the telekinesis, but they have boils and things on their faces, on their skin, and they're all wearing this headgear,
Yeah, I think it's
not a helmet, but it's not a
just
hoodie.
Covering up something nasty, I think.
Yeah, so it's kind of what
they got all the negatives, but none of the positives.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. So they've got a pretty raw deal. So they're the mutants that we're going to meet in the future in Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I immediately thought of Blade.
Okay.
Who has all their strengths but none of their weaknesses.
The Daywalkers.
And they have all of their weaknesses and none of their strengths. I was like, reverse good. Blade.
Yeah, what the hell? We gotta wait 2,000 years to become telekinetic
mind junkies that throw flames and stuff. Yeah, I was like, man, bummer.
Yeah. At some point, I forget if it was McDonald or it was Culp, who was the leader of the mutants. One of them says something about 12 years of peace. In the 27 years that it's been from conquest to now, the last 12 years have been peaceful and quiet. And that's when Virgil starts talking about the highway theory that is almost verbatim what Hasline said in Escape, but Virgil comes up with it, on his own. Let's see. I also noted, like, we're 35 minutes into it when they get kind of in the city and they're underneath the ground, and it's a very, like, tense cat and mouse kind of thing because the mutants become aware that they are there. They're searching for them. The Caesar and Virgil and McDonald don't know that they're...
Yeah, they don't
know that the
survivors.
mutants are there. Yeah, so they think they're just free to walk around, as they please. Yeah,
camera starts moving.
Yeah, I noted this for you. Once they once they get found out and the mutants are onto them, one of the ways they combat the humans is to use the man hose.
Yep, not an ape hose.
Not an ape hose. They use a man hose.
Oh yeah, I love that part.
But what I do like is that Cornelius and Virgil and McDonald, they have guns. They could shoot back.
Yeah.
And they really don't. At one point, they throw kind of a flashbang smoke grenade. Yeah. So not lethal. It doesn't appear to be. But it was kind of surprising that they don't really use deadly force against the mutants.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the apes' general nature, if it can help it.
I guess.
Because even in the future, there was more like, okay, we'll experiment on them. And if they die, they die. Yeah. It's not like cold-blooded usually.
Yeah.
Granted, they do use humans for target practice later, but...
Yeah.
It's semantics.
Yeah. Where were we? Oh, yeah, I was saying I was impressed with their effort to avoid killing by using the water hose and...
Yeah, and then they proceeded to escape through the smoke and back to Ape City.
Yep.
Which I find it fun that they call it Ape City already.
I know.
Even though there's humans there, it's not really Ape City anymore. That kind of threw me off because you'd think Ape City would just be apes.
Yeah.
They should have called it like Caesarville or something.
Treefort Village.
I know, I kept looking for like little Ewoks or something.
Yeah, Bright Tree Village.
Because it was just, I don't know. I was just surprised that that it was already called Ape City.
Yeah.
Just because I thought that would be something that would... Because it doesn't look like Ape City yet. Ape City's more...
And maybe it's just kind of that generic title of, it's where we live, so it's just going to be called Ape City,
call it Primate City.
Yeah.
Because humans are primates, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Make it more inclusive. Come on, Caesar.
Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, well, no wonder the humans are
you think they're going to want to
bitter?
tell
They don't want to live
in Ape City?
Yeah.
They're going to get made fun of.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize you were an ape. So where are we at now?
Let's see.
We just
Caesar and Virgil and McDonald fled the city.
Mm-hmm.
And then they immediately, go into a council kind of meeting. I like that Caesar seems to be a pretty decent leader. He doesn't really seem to keep secrets from everybody. He instantly tells them, we went to the city. There are survivors left. We,
it's
tells them that the humans may eventually come, for war.
And Aldo's like, bring it.
Yeah. Aldo takes that as, well,
here's my time to shine.
Here's my time to shine. We're going to take the war to them. He and his guerrillas leave to go kind of scout and see if the mutants have followed Caesar, which is, he makes the right call because they find out that the mutants have kind of had a council of their own and have rallied and basically say it's time to take the fight to Ape City because the mutants basically saw them coming as a sign of war, even though they didn't attack anyone. They weren't there to. They just came for information. And even one of the mutants says, they may not have been here.
Well, yeah, he said we noticed they brought the weapons for defense only.
Yeah.
And do you really want to end this peace of 12 years or something? Because I don't know if he's like the second in command or whatever, but he's always talking to the governor.
And that, I think, his name was Mendez, which I noted because in the future, in Beneath the Planet of the Apes, one of the 5 main telekinetic leaders, is named Mendez.
Oh.
And from what I read, as far as like background information and possible like deleted scenes, there's like a cult of Mendez.
Huh.
It's real weird. Something that was cut out
Yeah.
and for some reason, but so Mendez in the future might be more of a title. He's the leader of and that whole hall of like statues and busts that the beneath mutants had. Like
it's
something tied into well, not just him, but like of those types of like previous leaders, so just kind of a weird connection. It didn't really go anywhere, just kind of built the whole ape mythology.
Oh, I forgot the tape.
Mm-hmm.
Did they just leave that behind? I couldn't remember if they brought it with them.
It didn't seem like they took it with them because I don't think they had any way to.
Because I thought
play
they were
it.
gonna. Yeah, that's true. I thought they were gonna have to prove this.
Sure.
Whatever Caesar said was on the tape.
Sure.
So maybe that's just something I put in my head
that surprised me when they got there to the archive room. I thought, like you, that they were going to take everything they needed and then go back. So I was surprised when they just said, "Okay, well, here's where we can play it," and they started playing it. It's like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, they're onto you. You need to get out of there. But of course, they didn't realize that. They thought they were there by themselves, so they had all the time in the world to. The only motivation to leave was the radiation that was building up. So.
And unfortunately, they hadn't converted the tape to cassette,
right?
So they couldn't use a Walkman.
Yeah.
Or would that be a walk ape? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, a walk ape.
Doesn't sound as right.
No. Yeah. You human.
So yeah, everyone takes Caesar's word pretty much. It seems like he doesn't have to prove anything.
No, not at all.
Like I thought he would. Like I thought they would be like, "Oh, sure, yeah, there's mutants."
Yeah.
Right. Are they turtles?
Right. There we go. That's a blending
awesome.
I'd like to see.
Ooh, man. Ninja Turtles and the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it's a good crossover.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
So it's at some point it's nighttime and Aldo is kind of rallying his his apes, his gorillas, and there's a moment where for whatever reason Cornelius leaves his bedroom. Cornelius is Caesar's son. Mm-hmm. It's kind of confusing because they use the names. It would have been better had he named him Armando, just a tribute to his surrogate father. Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. So Cornelius leaves his bedroom, which is in a tree. So he's obviously climbing trees and going tree to tree.
You just brought up something. Shouldn't Caesar have Armando's accent? Since he was raised by him?
Yeah, but he was also raised around a bunch of people in a circus. True. So maybe it's like, I don't know.
It would have been awesome
hearing
his voice.
Those are human bastards.
Yeah.
Then it would have been the ape that sounded like...
Oh, that would have been so awesome. So Caesar sneaks out,
Cornelius
sneaks
So
out.
what I like, it's kind of like the first time you get to see some of their natural ape abilities. Mm-hmm. Like they must have had some kid that was fairly athletic or acrobatic because he's swinging, from tree to tree.
I was thinking gymnast.
Yeah, something like that. But it was just kind of a cool... you don't usually get to see apes do much other than walk around and do some running and,
Yeah, because, they still look awkward walking.
Yeah.
So you'd figure if they're in the trees, it'd look more natural, and it kind of did. Mm-hmm. Considering it was humans up in there. But.
Yeah. Yeah. So this leads Cornelius to be next to the tree or be above Aldo when he's, telling his troops that what they need is guns and, the guns will give them power. And he's just kind of chanting. He's giving the speech, but the only real words he's saying is, we need guns. Guns give us power. And he just keeps saying guns.
Well, he's stupid.
Yeah, he's stupid, and he's not talking to a group of intellectuals. So I guess he knows his audience. So someone spots Cornelius, so they
And he overheard everything.
And this is when I thought, what I expected to happen was that Aldo was going to kill Cornelius and blame it on the humans.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But then it was like, oh yeah, apes don't kill apes. And that's been like, they said that goes back to the schoolroom or school setting at the beginning of the film. That's like their number one law, apes don't kill apes. So it made me realize, like, I'm a savage human because I expected that Aldo was going to kill, Cornelius.
Well, it was pretty obvious with the whole eye rage and then he knew he was pretty much screwed.
Yeah,
so.
and essentially what happens is Aldo chases Cornelius up into a tree, kind of corners him, hacks at the branch that he's on with his sword, and Cornelius falls out of the tree and eventually dies. So
yeah, that's the part I was surprised
Aldo
about.
does kill Cornelius, but not like...
Yeah, and McDonald II, or whatever his name is.
The brother.
Yeah. He sort of does some CSI work and sees that the branch didn't break like people had thought. It was hacked at by a sword. Yeah. And everyone knows that Aldo likes his sword.
Right. Well, and he puts together like there was a fire nearby, so there must have been people.
Yeah. He uses human crime skills.
Yeah.
To pin it on Aldo.
He probably thinks of what would my brother have done.
But he had to get somebody else, like an ape, on his side.
He got Virgil, kind of to back him up.
He couldn't go on his own.
This is kind of not a minor thing, but I wrote down at 55 minutes in, I've only spotted one Halloween-type mask.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
So I think what they've probably done is...
collected over the years.
Yeah, I think they've made use of all their costumes, all their previous, the good masks that they've used. And what I like is that they've used the cheap ones very sparingly. Yeah. So production value, it's like the budget wasn't very big. It was only like 1.7 million, which going back to like the first and second movies, that was the entire budget for makeup. So this one they've only got that amount to spend. So it kind of shows when
they're squeezing every penny out of this franchise.
And that's probably why they make use of the tree forts, the tree villages. The sets are pretty simple.
But the Swiss Family Robinson stuff.
Yeah, but no, I was impressed with with how good the makeup was, again, for the crowds, because they seemed to use just the best looking masks and stuff. So
well, I also noticed with the quality of the masks, you could tell which actors had used the masks before because they could articulate their face a little better.
Yeah,
like Cornelius, or I keep calling him Cornelius.
Yeah.
Caesar,
he's a
or
pro.
McDowell. He's been using the mask this whole time, so he's really good with showing emotion or doing natural looking facial movements. Granted, he's got the best mask, but still, he uses it well, I thought.
No, totally,
because that can't be easy.
So let's see. So we're back to Cornelius has been, he's essentially in. They don't have a hospital, or they seem like they have one trained medical person.
Yeah, I think she was like a nurse or something.
She was probably a nurse or a doctor.
Maybe she was a vet.
She could have been a vet. Yeah, that'd be funny.
That would be more useful, I guess.
Yeah,
possibly. Although apes and humans are pretty similar anyway. So
yeah. At this point, Aldo and his scouts have found the humans, and they kind of catch up to him. And what I noticed is the apes draw first blood.
Yeah.
The mutants had attacked Caesar and Virgil at their city, but the apes just straight up kill one of the mutant scouts, and then right away the mutants retaliate and blow up. They blow up two apes, two gorillas, and kill one of them.
I thought it was comical how close they were, and they were still using a spyglass.
Yeah, that was really weird. They were
you could clearly see each other, just like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah, that I thought was weird too.
I called it a spyglass. I'm old.
Yeah.
Who says spyglass?
Let's see where we at.
So they got blown up.
They got
and then
blowed
they
up
come
real
back
good.
and say, "Oh, the mutants attacked, or the humans attacked."
Well, they came back and they wanted to. They went straight to the armory, and I thought they were going to kill Mandemus.
Man, you just don't like those gorillas.
I don't know why. Yeah, it just
They're gorillas.
I kept forgetting that apes don't kill apes, and I thought it was going to be one of those like. Now that Aldo has gone to the extreme, that he would be willing to do anything, essentially to protect the majority of the rest of the apes. So
I think he's already sweating the whole Cornelius thing.
Sure.
I mean,
well, he has no idea what condition Cornelius is in. So that the guerrillas raid the armory. They now control all the guns, and then it cuts to things have turned really bad for Cornelius. Mm-hmm. Caesar is told like he's basically moments away from death. So, but the scene with Caesar at Cornelius's deathbed it's a brilliant little bit of acting by Roddy McDowell. It's really sad. It's like really you see the rage and you see how sad Caesar is, and it got me right in the feels.
I would not have picked this one to bring the tears.
I mean, it didn't bring me to tears, but
oh no, you were crying like a wee little baby.
I'm still crying. I haven't stopped.
Cornelius, no.
Yeah.
Oh man. Weak.
I know.
I was laughing.
Hey,
it's like that's what you get, you nosy kid.
That's why you never sneak out of your bedroom at night.
Yep. That's going to be a story they tell other apes.
That's right.
You sneak out at night and Aldo will kill you with a switch in a tree and knock you down, and you won't die right away, but eventually.
Yeah, 2 days of agony. And
Yep. So what I'm getting at is don't leave at
Yes.
night without telling us. All right. Good. Great story. Rich and compelling.
Thanks, Dad. Can I borrow your spyglass?
So the Travis cried and then
was weeping like a.
And it's awesome because those masks really let you die convincingly.
Yeah.
Your face is not going to be moving too
right,
much.
Yeah. As long as
make sure your eyes are closed.
Yeah. So pretty much the war begins. The apes find Ape City. The mutants find Ape City.
This is where I was like, how long is this battle scene going to be?
It was very slow.
Oh. I was tempted on multiple occasions to fast forward.
Yeah, it was a lot of just advancing.
Yeah.
It's like they would cut, the way they filmed
apes
it.
Shot from behind a barricade.
Mm-hmm.
The humans would shoot their cannons. Random people would fall down.
Yeah.
It was just over and over.
But it seemed like the battlefield must be 5 miles long because every time they cut to the mutants, they were advancing like they were driving very slowly across this field. And then, more shooting, more, back and forth, cut back to the mutants, and they're still driving forward. It was like, it took them 5 minutes to get from,
That battle sequence was at least 12 minutes, I think.
Easily.
I was just like, holy crap, this is not fun.
It wasn't fun, and that's kind of
It wasn't like the last one.
No, it was a lot of build-up, because at this point, the story had me, I was invested in it, the kind of the intrigue of going to the city, and then
it was kind of cool.
Everything that happened between Caesar coming back and kind of preparing for war and that kind of thing, and just once the war started, it was like,
I think that was
so long.
Probably my least favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
Ironically called Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Eventually, we get to a standoff with Culp and Caesar, and I didn't see the fake out coming with all the apes laying on the ground. Caesar, basically getting between a rock and a hard place, essentially cornered, and then is it Lisa up in the tree? She
says
something. She calls out Culp.
Yeah, something.
She calls him
she
out.
says no.
She might have said no. Yeah, basically distracted him, and then
Caesar goes, "Fight like apes."
Yeah, all the apes would,
like
get
that.
up off the ground, and it just becomes like a lot of hand to hand, a lot of like close quarters, combat, and
that's where I was waiting for a gorilla to throw a human.
I know that would have been great to see just some savage.
Oh, we totally skipped the part where they corral the humans that live in Ape City.
Right, yeah.
And I don't know if it's supposed to be a comment on like the
definitely
Japanese,
think it is. The internment camps and concentration camps, that kind of thing. Of like, even though these humans have, not been slaves, but not been
like they're
equals,
a part of Ape City.
They are a part,
Like the Japanese were a part of America.
Yeah, so to treat them as if they were the same as the mutants. Pretty shitty,
Oh yeah,
and it's
it's the gorillas that did it, so they're not exactly the most thoughtful beings so far.
But yeah, that's definitely a commentary on how this country is treated.
We're even doing that today with Syria and all that fun stuff.
It's terrible.
I think I wrote down Aldo Trump. It just made me think.
We need guns. We need power.
And I want Aldo on this rock. As big as anything.
That's right.
If only he had a comb over.
I did like... At one point, the tables kind of turned and the apes got the upper hand and had the humans kind of on the run. Caesar says, let him go. Don't chase after him and kill him. But Aldo doesn't really get that message. So Aldo rides in with his little battalion of mounted gorillas.
Look how great we are.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Because they went back and killed the mutants that escaped.
Yeah, they raid the bus.
Yeah.
Right after Caesar says, no, let him go. We're not going to kill him. And then Aldo swoops in and just takes out everybody on the bus, including the leader, Colt.
Yeah, that was a lame way to get rid of the leader.
Kinda, but I like that it was just
showed him just laying in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be like some scene where he's like talking to Aldo, and Aldo goes, "Big words confuse me." Boom.
Apes kill humans. Yeah. No, I like the little bus raid.
So then after that, they come back and meet up at the human pen.
Yeah, then we get the conflict between Aldo and Caesar, which again is a little drawn out, but for me it was a little more satisfying. Because just when I say drawn out, I mean they chase each other up a tree, or Aldo. So everything comes to light as far as Aldo
what he's done,
being responsible for the death of Cornelius. So then all of the apes, are like
they start chanting,
shaming him.
Well, they chant like. It was hard to understand what they were saying. It was like,
ape
not kill ape.
Ape kill ape.
Kill ape.
Something like that,
It started changing into.
Yeah.
And I think McDonald's brother, whatever his name is, had a good line. Like, somebody asked what's going on, and he says, I think they're becoming more human or something along those lines. And I thought that was a really cool line.
Yeah.
Because, they're feeling like the rage that a human might feel and how they want to act out.
They know what it's like now for, ape to kill ape.
So they're being more human-like than ape-like.
Yeah, and you could kind of, if you wanted to go real broad with it, you could look at it like this is the first sin. Like this is man's, what was it, man taking a bite of the apple. It's like the first sin. Kind of thing,
or like Cain and Abel.
Yeah,
that was the first murder.
It's probably a little closer.
Thanks, Sunday school. All that torturous Sundays, and just to help me analyze the Apes movie.
Yep, knew it'll all pay off eventually.
All right, big winner. Right here. Oh yeah, this is where I wrote Death Battle.
Nice.
Caesar versus Aldo.
Yeah, and I would have preferred more of a fight. I'm glad that finally Caesar had a genuine conflict in one of these movies.
If there was a fight, Caesar wouldn't have won.
No, but if he was fueled by rage of
maybe
Aldo having killed Cornelius, it would have been better to see Caesar win a fight, like an actual fight.
Because Aldo is stronger, has a sword.
Yeah.
Caesar, weak, no sword.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
I would have just liked to see that rage, a savage primate side of him.
Did kind of see it when he caught the sword, like the thrust at him, and sort of threw him over the edge.
Yeah, so
that took some strength. I mean, Aldo's not weak.
Mm-hmm.
Although he's acting like, I don't know, he's fighting more like a desperate, cornered animal because his eyes are just darting around. And I think he's just thrown off his game.
He's been chased up a tree, which, again, I don't know why Aldo chooses a tree to escape in.
I know.
There's nowhere to go, so
I don't think gorillas
just
are
able to...
exceptionally good in trees as opposed to a chimpanzee.
Yeah. But eventually Aldo falls from the tree and dies the same way Cornelius does, but... I mean, we don't see his body. We don't see him actually die, but we're given the impression that he dies.
Sort of just fast forwards back to the narrator, kind of.
It jumps to like him and Virgil, I think, are talking about,
Should one murder be avenged by another?
Only the future can tell.
Yeah, and then it goes back to the armory.
Then, jumps back to...
He says he wants to get rid of the guns, but then they say, whoa.
Oh, that's right.
Have patience. We don't know.
Yeah. We'll keep the guns around for now.
Yeah.
And then they kind of have they kind of get on common grounds with McDonald and the other actual humans.
Yeah.
And, they...
If we appear to be lacking in gratitude, Caesar, what have we to be grateful for? If you mean to set us free, then free us completely.
What do you mean?
We are not your children, Caesar. We have a destiny, too.
As equals, respecting each other, living together with love.
Love. The human way is violence and death.
Aldo wasn't human. Was he, Caesar?
Virgil, you are a good and wise ape.
And you, Caesar, are a good and wise king.
We'll rebuild what's ruined and begin again. Tell me something, McDonald. Can we make the future what we wish?
I've heard that it's possible, Caesar.
You can tell that things aren't going to be the exact same way they were, but that they'll be heading in a better place. So
and then on those words of have patience. We still don't know about this peace and whatnot. Then it shoots to the year 2670, whatever.
We go back to the lawgiver,
whatever he is.
Yeah,
I thought he was a teacher because he had all the kids, but
I think
maybe
probably
he's both.
Yeah, I think it's both. That he's definitely the lawgiver in the credits,
and that's where it got super cheesy.
Yeah, so we get to see.
I think it's
the lawgiver. This whole time has been talking to a group that we don't see until now. Group of ape children and human children who are, living side by side, and
I didn't see gorillas.
No, it was just.
I just
chimps
saw chimps.
And were there orangutans? Yeah, and just humans. Yeah.
So they killed all the gorillas, and everyone lived happily ever after.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to go.
But he explains, this is 600 years after the death of Caesar. We still are unsure of this peace or something like that. And it shows like an ape kid pulling on a human girl's hair, and then she pushes him down because that's kids.
It's kids, and that they're not going to understand,
But I did like it kind of because it showed that she pushed him down and didn't get in trouble.
Right.
So it's not like they're on more even ground.
Yeah.
But it was a really cheesy. Like
the final thing.
Everything's awesome, and a tear from the statue of Caesar.
The tear from the statue of Caesar really bothered me because it makes me think, okay, if this was really Caesar, why would he be crying? As if
he's joy.
See, I didn't get a joyful tear out of that. I thought it was a tear of mourning, like, I hate how all this turned out. But it turned out well, Everyone's in coexistence and peace, there's peace right now. So why would Caesar shed a tear? I guess it really bothers me.
It could be there.
It's a cheesy scene to have a statue cry.
Yeah. Well, it was cheesy just because, I mean, we're used to these brutal endings with every movie. Yeah. And now everything's awesome.
Yeah. Everything is awesome.
Yeah. It threw me how cheerful this ending was and how upbeat it was.
I wouldn't call it to cheerful. The others. I think it's very
that's the best
positive
outcome.
Yeah, for sure. But it wasn't like...
I mean, there's no way they're going to end it by saying, and war was never heard from again.
What? Yeah. I don't know. Just the tear coming down the statue really bothered me because I didn't understand. For me, it didn't play as joyful. It played as...
I thought he was...
Caesar was sad how things turned out.
I thought he was happy because that's exactly how he wanted it to turn out.
And
for
me, it was like, why not have it set 30 years in the future and have a really old Caesar at the end of his life shed a tear of joy? Yeah. That I would have been cool with.
I could see the tear if he's crying because peace is still not achieved and they still have to worry about that.
Sure, but what we're shown is that peace has been achieved.
Yeah.
You know.
But they're still not, letting go of their weapons.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's weird to have a statue cry, period.
Yeah. That's what really bugged me. But that's just a, direction choice and just a weird ending. It doesn't really affect the preceding movie or, just a weird button at the end of the movie, but
yeah, I was kind of disappointed about the ending.
Just the coexistence and peace and how it's shoved down your throat.
That I can understand because that's where they were headed this whole time in this movie. But the whole cheesy feel of it, kids just being kids, and then the statue crying, and I was like, oh, what the hell? I'd go back to the blowed up everything.
Yeah.
When you think about all the endings of the previous movies, it's surprisingly upbeat considering the way they got there was by the apes going down to the humans level, essentially.
Kinda, yeah.
Because the only reason they became coexisted is because they became more like the humans and killed each other.
Yeah.
So what kind of message is that?
Yeah. I don't know.
It was a weird, button on the whole series. Because I thought that was the best quality of the apes is that they wouldn't kill each other.
Right.
But it turns out...
And maybe they haven't since the Aldo.
Yeah.
Maybe that was really the only... Maybe that became a...
Well, that's what
a learning, a lesson, and a... Yeah.
That was Aldo's contribution in this timeline. Instead of saying no...
that could be.
He was a martyr for...
He changed the timeline.
Apes.
Yeah.
So Aldo's still an important figure in the history.
In a different way.
But, in a different manner.
Yeah, I would go with that.
That's how I thought of it. Yeah. I probably put too much thought into that.
No, I don't think so. I think it's a good takeaway from it.
At least he's not nothing.
Because, and for 2 or 3 movies, we have heard this name Aldo, and a lot of importance was put on him. The character was kind of like...
Now he's Aldo the child killer.
Yeah. Aldo the fool.
Yeah, Aldo the doofus. Aldo the tree chopper.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was the last Apes movie for a while.
Yeah, the last of the original Ape movies.
I think I hear people rejoicing. And we all lived happily ever after.
That's right.
That's why he's crying. Because it's finally over.
Yeah.
Or maybe McDowell was crying because he had no work to do after this.
Yeah.
I really don't know that. If he did anything else.
I don't know.
So you want to get into pros, cons, right?
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up.
All right. So I'll go con.
Okay, go cons first.
Yeah.
Cool.
Felt like there was a lot of wasted time in this movie.
Okay.
The walking to the Forbidden Zone, and it took them forever to get to the freaking archives, I thought.
Yeah.
And then the battle sequence was drawn out. And then just at certain points they got really to the point, but then on others they would just drag out these pointless
Cornelius'
walking
death.
scenes and I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the opening sequence with the recap again. That I mean,
Sure.
The movies all came out within like 3 years.
Right.
So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, my con is basically the same. The action scenes are drawn out and slow, and I would have liked to see a more physical battle between Caesar and Aldo. My only other con was that the battle at the end was a little underwhelming for reasons we already talked about. Too much advancing, like, advancing on one side and just shooting, but nothing memorable from the battle scene.
Yeah.
So, those are my cons. I mean, it's only really two, and they're kind of really just one.
Yeah. My other one was the odd motivation for the mutants to attack.
Okay.
Because from what I heard them saying, they let them escape because they're all tired and weak and they're irradiated.
Yeah.
And why venture out and try to fight a group that's not weak and radiated? But because it didn't seem like anyone else was on board. They were all like, "Why are we doing this?" And then the governor's just like, "Because they're gonna kill us, even though they didn't do anything when they were here."
See, I think I took it more as they realized that the apes were living in a non-irradiated city.
But how could they not know that?
Sure.
I
guess, but for me, it's like, if this is just what they knew for the last 27 years, I mean, it's silly that they wouldn't explore out and go out and everything, but now they're shown proof that the apes are healthy and
yeah,
I guess
I figured they would have escaped in a different direction.
Sure, could have gone somewhere completely
You're
unrelated.
Totally weak, as they said themselves.
But they have weapons. They have
weapons. But it's like, I don't know. I just thought it was a weird jump to go and battle a group instead of trying to make yourself stronger.
Yeah.
Maybe find another non-radiated place. But
yeah, I mean,
maybe they need the radiation to live.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was an odd. Like, nobody seemed like they were on board that was talking to the governor.
Sure.
But the random henchmen that were not henchmen, but irradiated people. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't feel like any of those mutants wanted to really go fight.
Yeah.
Because it just seemed like a doomed effort from the get-go to me.
Yeah.
Like, I never had any concern that the mutants were going to beat Ape City.
See, and with the way that the previous movies had gone, it could have gone really bad at the end. Like, maybe it could have become another Beneath, where someone hit hit the button and blew everything up. So, yeah.
But I mean, I get it.
Little
they
chance
to have
of
conflict.
That. Yeah.
But I just thought, how are these irradiated weaklings going to take on the apes? I mean,
I guess I didn't see them as weaklings because they had, weapons and they had vehicles. And they were very. The governor was very forceful. He was very he was almost like Aldo, just very impassioned, and So I didn't see them as being weak. I mean, some of them that we saw looked sickly and.
Yeah, because I swear everyone looked like they were really old.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah. No, they didn't look good, but.
No, and I mean, they had the intruders way outnumbered, and they still got out, no problem.
Yeah.
And that was one of the excuses.
That's true.
That they were weak and.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like they were running out of food or something.
And that might have been the other motivation, that if the apes have crops and that's what they wanted. That's what maybe part of their motivation was, to raid Ape City and take everything for them.
Yeah.
So,
okay. All right. Pros.
I liked everything in the movie building up towards the battle. Like I said before, it was there was a lot of intrigue with the city. There was a lot of good Caesar moments. The Aldo Caesar conflict was really strong for me. So that was a pro. I was really into it.
Okay. Yeah.
And especially for a movie that I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. So. I liked the sort of getting to see how this timeline was treating humans, where it was kind of like a middle ground. Like, they weren't exactly even, but they weren't slaves.
They weren't in cages and just.
And you got to see the relationship evolve towards the end, where at the very end they become more like us because I don't know, like killing each other makes you more human, but it does in this world. And I don't know, maybe it takes some of the superiority out of the ape mind that we're so much better because we don't kill each other like humans. Yeah, because that was heavily discussed throughout the series. Like, man kills man, right? So they're like unfit, they're unstable. But now ape has proven to be just as capable and unstable. So maybe that's what tips it and creates harmony. Ironically, So 2 wrongs do make a right. Take that. Yeah. That's the message I got. Yeah. If we could all just kill each other,
we'll be fine.
It'd be great. No, I think it just changed because it's gonna be. That was a huge point throughout the movies. That apes don't kill apes, and now that they have, it sort of changes the game.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good point.
So,
and McDonald kind of says it, or McDonald explicitly says it. Maybe
is that his last name?
I think so.
Okay, because I've been calling. I want
to say it's the brother in Conquest. I think was David McDonald.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what his first name is. Maybe
Donald
McDonald, Ronald. So Ronald McDonald says that now maybe they're becoming more human, or they know what it's like to be human, or something like that. So
he sees that Caesar's got that rage in his eye.
Yeah,
like he's this guy's killed this kid. He knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else knows it.
Yeah. I think my other pro would just be I like the characters of McDonald and Virgil. Mandemus was fun, and obviously Caesar was pretty awesome. So, any other final thoughts?
Well, just as a sort of a wrap up thing, I guess looking at it as a whole, like the series, it's kind of makes sense if you really don't pay too much attention to time and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you knew they screwed up the timeline by going back in time to the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's nice that they clearly made a distinction between timelines.
Yeah.
And that, in the end, the story was that you can change the future. And it's...
Yeah. It doesn't have to end.
And the future is what you make it and ever-changing and all that jazz that you always hear.
Yeah.
And they took an interesting approach because, like we mentioned, Aldo was the hero and now he's the villain, but also sort of puts the future into a different aspect than it would have gone otherwise.
Yeah.
So he did have an impact. It's just in a different way. So it's kind of smart how they did that.
Yeah, because when you watch Planet of the Apes, the first one, there's no reason to think that, let me try and put this into words without going cross-eyed. There's no reason to think that the world which Dr. Zaius and Cornelius and Zira lived in was created by Cornelius and Zira going back in time.
Yeah.
Because it hadn't been established at that point. So it is nice that they, like you said, they do make some change and create a new Planet of the Apes.
They didn't just forget about the Aldo story like they could have.
Yeah.
They just changed it. They didn't,
made him significant in a different way.
Yeah.
And I would add that as a pro for the franchise.
Yeah, I mean, that it's tricky when you're dealing with time and different timelines. That because like you could tell, like it veered off as soon as Caesar took over.
Sure.
Like at that point, it wasn't Aldo; it was Caesar that took Aldo's spot.
Yeah, which
Aldo probably would have gone in a more aggressive manner, even though this did go really quickly.
Because if you think about it, the original timeline probably would have been the humans had been training the apes, like we saw in Conquest, and putting them through training and making them servants, basically. And at some point then, Aldo would have said no. Just from, being...
Although it's weird that a gorilla would have been the first to say no, since they're...
Probably what would have happened was, that gorilla, that savage, the more savage of the three classes, apes, would have said no and probably would have just led a more brutal overthrowing of the human race, just attacking and
yeah, because I mean it's been proven that Caesar, who started it, is not as smart as people that came after him.
Sure.
So the same could be said for Aldo.
And that's
even though he's a gorilla.
Yeah.
The chimpanzees and orangutans would pick things up quicker. So I'll let that part slide.
Sure.
The dumbest was the first to speak.
Yeah.
If in fact Aldo was a gorilla in the original timeline.
What? Yeah, Aldo could have been.
Again, this isn't a perfect time
yeah.
travel movie by any means.
Yeah.
But at least they tried.
Yeah, it for being like a self-contained little franchise, it works.
And considering we're 2 left off,
yeah,
the fact that they were able to get this much out of it,
that's a good point.
Is impressive.
Yeah, and they're able to say, "Oh, we escaped from the planet because Milo was a genius, and he fixed a rocket ship," you know. And they gloss over that in the first a couple sentences of
3. I think was probably 2 and 3 for me were probably the least least fun.
Yeah.
My favorites 1 and 4, and then probably the 5th.
Original one.
Because I'd rate this one at a 2.5.
Okay.
Just because I was expecting it to be a battle movie.
Sure.
And it was more of a social debate.
Sure.
And the battle was probably the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah.
But and then the ending kind of cheesed it up to something I wasn't used to with this series.
Sure.
Where I was like, the rainbows and unicorns flew out of everyone's butt.
I would rate it. I think I would go with a 3. It's
put it on par with the last one.
I would. Yeah, I think so. I think they feel similar enough. The overall tone, although the tone of Conquest was much darker.
Yeah.
This is probably one. Maybe I would rate it a little less than a 3 because I don't know that I would want to watch this one.
I would not want to watch it again.
Yeah, I liked it, but I don't need to see it again anytime soon.
Yeah.
Whereas I would go and watch the original. I would watch Escape From kind of any time because those I think were my favorite.
You liked Escape?
I really liked Escape.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I gave it a 4.
Wow.
You know.
I forgot that you lost your mind.
Right. Yeah. I would bring mine down to a 2.75.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would make 2.625 for this one.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, especially seeing them back to back. I noticed that I liked the last one, the Conquest, much better than Battle for.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a horrible movie.
No.
It was just what it was. It was the last of a franchise. And
for me, it was a good conclusion for the franchise.
Yeah, they could have done worse, could have done better, but
considering how far it dropped with the second one, and it kind of slowly came back up for me with with Escape brought it up a little bit, and then Conquest brought it up, and this one just it's satisfying.
I think I'd. What would you say your ratings for the series would go? Like in what order?
If I was gonna put them in order of
like from
best
or from worst to best.
Worst to best. Well, obviously Beneath is the worst, and then for me,
I think that's what we'll skew off after that.
I would say this. I would say it would go Beneath, then Battle, then Conquest, Escape, and Planet. So
you have Escape much higher than I would put it.
Yeah.
Essentially,
it's definitely my second favorite.
Because I kind of go between the first and the
Conquest
4th.
Okay.
As being pretty neck and neck.
Okay.
Like they're almost like the opposite movie.
Yeah.
Because Heston is human in the ape world and Caesar is the ape in the human world. And for some reason, I like both of those movies pretty on par.
Right.
Like they're pretty damn close.
Right on.
I got to give it to the first one just because it's the first one. And,
it sets everything up.
And it had the big twist at the end, which was huge at the time.
Yeah. I think what this one could have used, and it's funny because as much as we didn't like Beneath, this one to me could have used a, either a post-credits kind of thing, or had the mutants escaped the battle, gone back and dug up the bomb. I'm surprised that they didn't show the bomb from beneath.
They had to know this was going to be the last.
Yeah, no, I think
they just wanted to end
that's
it.
True.
I think.
Yeah, but maybe that never happens, because maybe if you kill the governor, maybe there aren't. Left. That's true. Maybe that beneath never comes to be.
Because all that happens is, it seemed like all the men went.
Yeah,
I didn't see any women in the battle.
No.
So then all that was left was a few ladies, and there weren't even that many women there in the first place.
No,
I only saw one or two.
Yeah, one of the governor's little lieutenants was a woman that.
Yeah, she was putting her makeup on. That's her big
scene.
That's
right. Yeah. Well, she was monitoring the apes in the underground.
She's just covering up her boils.
Yeah. So.
And I wanted them to take their masks off.
Oh, reveal the. Yeah.
But maybe they hadn't gone that far.
Yeah, I don't think they had that yet.
Because they still look like they did when they were human.
Yeah.
But they weren't. I didn't really see them as mutants, really.
These guys in this one? They were early mutants. They were
disfigured.
Yeah.
But that was it. They weren't
Give them another 600 years, they will be those mutants. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they didn't have, there was nothing different about them other than their appearance and the fact that, I still don't get how they have kids when they're irradiated, but maybe they have crazy
little mutant babies.
Sperm and
I
don't know. That's beyond me, but still. But overall, it was good. Mm-hmm. It's what you can't expect too much from a last.
No.
Those are destined to be disappointing, no matter what.
Yeah.
So, for what it wasn't too bad.
Right. That's how I feel.
I just probably wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I'm good. I like the franchise as a whole, and maybe in 10 years I'll come back to it and revisit it and watch them all again. But yeah, I'm good for a while. Okay. I'm satisfied.
Well, next on the agenda is
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die.
So we get to meet Roger Moore's James Bond, and if I'm not mistaken,
I've always heard bad things about Roger Moore's Bond.
He's the
oldest to take up the mantle, right?
Yeah, I was going to look that up to see if
he's in his 40s. I thought when he starts playing Bond.
Yeah, I want to say he was the same age that Connery was when he left the role.
Okay.
So something like that, or it's
like
very
41,
close.
42, somewhere around there.
Something like that. But yeah, I think Roger Moore is kind of known for being the sillier of the Bond.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because his
never seen any
his
of
time
those.
period in the 70s, that's when Bond movies got a little campy. The gadgets got sillier.
So it's more like Austin Powers?
I think it's a little closer to that than, as far as obviously the Austin Powers stuff took a lot of the missions and the set design from the early 60s, the Connery movies. But yeah, I think a lot of the characterization they took from
So he's a swinger and a shagger?
A little bit, yeah. not...
So you say
it's just
baby?
It's just 70s. It's just very 70s.
Okay.
So
this should be a treat.
Yeah.
And then...
but I like... let me think. I don't remember loving Live and Let Die. I really like the second one, Man with the Golden Gun.
It's such a weird title.
Yeah.
Like Goldfinger, Man with Golden Gun.
Yeah.
What's with the gold?
No, I think there's some good Roger Moore stuff coming up. But
well, that's going to be... we're finally going to get closer to other franchise, I guess, eventually.
Yeah, because we got...
It's going to be weird once we're out of this rut of...
Sure.
Ape, Bond, Ape.
Yeah.
So it'll be exciting for everyone, I'm sure.
I think so.
Especially when the next one is a beloved film.
Oh, yeah.
After Golden Gun, I think.
Yep. We get Star Wars.
We get to the New Hope.
Yep.
I believe it's called some little movie called Star Wars. It really didn't kick off until I think Spaceballs really showed what it could have been.
That's
my
synopsis. Go ahead and stop you there.
If you think I'm right, please let us know. Man, everyone's going to be on my side.
I don't think so.
I mean, if they would have just given Darth Vader a bigger helmet. And if Chewbacca was half man, half dog, I mean...
Yeah.
It would make a lot more sense, because dog is man's best friend. Instead, you got a walking carpet sample.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm joking. I'm gonna get like death threats.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Boba Fett on my ass.
Boba Fett. Okay, so yeah, we're coming up to Live and Let Die. After that'll be Man with the Golden Gun, and then Star Wars. So.
Yeah, it should be. I haven't seen the original Star Wars in probably 10 to 12 years.
Really? Wow.
It's been a while. And I saw it on like TV.
Oh, okay. Wow. I guess I just assumed that everyone watches the original trilogy like every year.
Nope. Well, honestly, as a kid, I wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
Because I think I liked the last one the best. Because
as a kid?
Like, yeah.
Sure.
Because the first ones, I'm like, I mean...
It's a lot of talking and a lot of weird concepts that you don't really get as a kid. Sure. Yeah.
And it always... I always got confused as a kid when Obi-Wan, spoiler alerts, gets killed by Vader, but he turns into a pile of clothes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Who?
Huh?
I was like, so you're more powerful being clothes? I'm confused because I'm 8 and I'm watching this with my cousins.
Nice.
That always struck me as odd.
Yeah. As a kid, that's a weird thing to wrap your head around.
Like, okay, is this like the G version of this movie? You can't have blood,
right?
Lightsabers are like people disintegrators, and you turn into clothes?
That always like I know what you mean. Like I always thought, oh, when the lightsaber hits him, it turns him.
That's
into...
what I thought at first.
Yeah.
I thought it made you into dust or something.
Yeah,
or warped you into heaven.
I think it's a good concept, but it
then
it was
later,
executed poorly.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's weird because it starts with that line. You know, you strike me down, I'll be more powerful, or blah blah blah.
Yeah, and that doesn't.
And I was like, huh?
Yeah. It's a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of setup
like
for later, like a later payoff.
Later on, I tried to read into it more. I'm like, so he's more powerful because he becomes pure energy of the Force?
He becomes one
and
with
he
the Force.
did it so quickly, he left his clothes behind.
Yeah.
So when he sees Luke later in the scenes, he's really naked.
Yeah.
Luke, I'm naked. This is the kind of analysis you're going to get with Star Wars.
Yeah, so come back in like 3 weeks for more of this.
Everyone's going to hate me. I'm going to be the Jar Jar Binks of this podcast. Misa Laika. Oh, man. Yeah, everyone's going to hate me. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll be that guy.
We need an Aldo.
Yes.
You need to be the villain.
Star Wars concepts hurt brain. Stupid clothes vanishing guy.
Wow, that just happened. Whoa.
Well, that's one way to end an episode.
No kidding.
Holy crap!
I want be interesting to hear what that sounds like on a microphone.
I think that was the Force getting back at me.
Yeah, the Force just destroyed your ID badge for.
So that's what it looks like. Wow.
See, I told you, you keep playing with it, it's just going to go off in your hands.
Oh, that's great.
You can't plan that.
No.
So on that bombshell, I think we'll wrap up.
Yeah, I'm blaming the Force on that one.
Yeah, you got karma is for real.
Wow. All right then. I'm glad. I was just like, what do I do with that? The freaking lanyard thing just blew up in my hand and shot across the floor.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
I must have powers I don't know yet.
Well, I was over here just waving my hands, trying to make it happen.
Take this, Spaceballs. Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Okay, so yeah, next episode.
Yep.
Live with a golden man with a dying. I don't know what
yes,
the hell it's
live
called.
with the dying golden man.
Is it Live and Let Die?
Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
From 1973.
Is this the Beatles one?
The Beatles. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the Paul McCartney.
Yeah. Or just Paul McCartney.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I look forward to that at least.
Yeah, we're getting back into intro songs. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It seems like it's been a while since I watched Bond. So
it does seem that way, doesn't it?
we took that little hiatus.
Yeah, and we've done 2 8 movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been a couple weeks, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, as always, we'll be back again with a fantastic, fun-filled episode. And here's where Travis plugs everything.
Oh, yeah. I should probably do that. Facebook, Twitter, email.
MySpace.
Friendster. Yeah, Friendster. Yeah, let's
Carrier pigeon.
Yeah. The shine a light into the sky with the Real Comic Heroes logo. We'll be there. So, yeah, just find us online, realcomicheroes@gmail.com, Real Comic Heroes on Twitter and Facebook. Let us know what you think, and, yeah, we'll be back.
Peace. Yeah, that
Guns.
just happened. I can't believe this blew up in my hand. That hurt.
Did it?
Yeah.
Roger Moore is James Bond 007 in Ian Fleming's Live and Let Die.
My name's Bond. James Bond.
Names is for tombstones, baby. Waste him, now.
James Bond is back, and wherever he drops in, it can mean only one thing.
Trouble!
This is the Bond adventure with more excitement, more action, more danger, and more. Much more. Roger Moore as James Bond 007. .007 is on a worldwide manhunt. The body count is going up. And where Bond stops to visit, he leaves his mark. On everything.
They'll kill you.
They will kill us. That was lesson number 2. Togetherness.
Is there time before we leave for lesson number 3?
Absolutely.
Take your seat and hang on.
If any man can show just cause where they may not lawfully be joined together.
Because Bond is on the move. And if you miss this one, you'll miss the most exciting 007 adventure of them all.
What the?